Joining us to unpack the political party funding figures is Robyn Pasensie, political researcher at My Vote Counts. Good afternoon yet again, Robyn. I hope you can hear me this time. Your take on that staggering 172 million that has been donated in the past quarter.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me back on. I think the connectivity issues are all resolved. You were absolutely right. It is a staggering amount of private funding donations. This is, in fact, the only quarter thus far that we have received donations over 100 million. And I think it's precisely because this is one of the most highly contested elections we have had since 1994. And I think, at least for us, the major takeaway from this is that there are roughly about 5 main donors through the Oppenheimer family, the Pretis's various companies, from Michal Leroux, the co-founder of Capitex, through his company, and Martin Moshal, who between them have donated over 120 million rand. So just across those 5 individuals, they actually account for almost 70% of that number. So that's a staggering trend. It really means that our politics is funded by a very wealthy few.
Is that concerning, though, in any way? Because they are repeat donors, as is stated, and it is a significant portion. But also what some have noted is that it's going to a few political parties as well. It's almost the same political parties that they donate to. Absolutely.
On the one hand, you obviously do not want to stop any person from expressing their political interest by donating. By all means, you should be able to do that. And if it happens to be to the same political party, then by all means. However, the situation in South Africa has been such that we have seen what happens when private interests are really able to infiltrate in our politics, where lots of money is actually moving in our politics, and it sways the direction of political interest away from the public and rather in the direction of the sort of moneyed individual. And that's really the concern that we have, is that if this is a continuing trend, and it seems to be, then what does it possibly mean about what the shape of our politics is going to look like in the future?
But there are also those that say that money or political funding is very important in the broader program of an inclusive political system. So what would your view be there?
Absolutely. We need money. We need money to live. And I think for My Vote Counts, what we would advocate for is more broad-based funding. So in other words, stimulate from the wider section of society, your voters, to actually give money, whether that's 5 rand up to whatever amount it is that you want, so that first of all you can actually show that your money is coming from your supporter base. And secondly, we need to perhaps re-look at what our public funding structure is currently like, and how that can be made more equitable to stimulate this kind of politics that we would want to have.
And then your take on entities such as Harmony Gold, because it seems where they're concerned, they are funding almost all political parties, especially the big ones, where some are saying that it could be read as them being non-partisan, that they're literally just funding democracy here.
Absolutely. And to that I would say, why not then donate to the Multi-Party Democracy Fund? That is precisely what it is set up for. And in fact, it would have a far greater reach than the few political parties that Harmony Gold and African Rainbow Minerals has donated to. All represented parties would get a slice of the pie if you put it in that fund. So I would say that there's perhaps a little bit of dissonance there if you're saying you're donating to democracy, but you're not donating to this fund. And just as sort of a concluding point on that, Harmony Gold and African Rainbow Minerals still gave the most to the ANC. So that was still the party that received the largest share of its funding.
I think Harmony Gold gave the ANC around 6.9 million to be exact.
Absolutely, and African Rainbow Minerals the same amount as well. So just under 14 million going only to the ANC.
And I suppose perhaps some could say the argument there is that for now it was the biggest party. So maybe if they had to use their own maths, they'd say we give the lion's share to the biggest party, and then the second largest party would also get perhaps the second largest amount.
I mean, sure, and to that I would say again that the funding allocations for the Multi-Party Democracy Fund would do it in exactly that manner. So again, you could have had a greater reach of political parties if you actually put that money in that fund, if you were saying that what I'm donating for is for a greater political representation and democracy as a whole.
Now, Robyn, before I let you go, you're challenging the passing of the Electoral Matters Amendment Bill. For those who just might not have seen your court papers, talk us through your concerns there.
Sure. So the Electoral Matters Amendment Act, as it is now, was signed into law and became effectual as of the 8th of May. And we needed this law first and foremost because of independents now being included, and we needed to make sure that other pieces of legislation, like the Party Funding Act, also accounted for them. However, with the signing of this law, what it has effectively done is it has actually removed the limit, which is 100,000 Rand for disclosure and 15 million Rand at the upper limit. So we are actually currently having our case heard in the Western Cape High Court as we speak. We approached the court with an urgent interdict, and we are really seeking immediate relief that we do have the declaring of those thresholds so that we can stop the potential for a funding free-for-all where you can give any amount and you're not legally obliged to disclose what that is.
All right, Robyn, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That was Robyn Pasensie, political researcher at My Vote Counts.